been doing that all the time lately. So sorry about that. Go ahead, Bridget. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me hit the got it here. Okay. All right. All right, ladies. Well, it is my joy to be with you. And I hope that today, wow, it's probably a different training than you've probably ever heard before. And I hope in a good way. I hope it empowers you to think a new thought today, whether you're a consultant or a sales director. I've built my business for 20 years next month. And man, I've built it through seasons of, I started my business so we could afford groceries because we couldn't afford groceries month to month, to then building it to a sales director position, and then building it to, $1 million unit. And we did all of that, you guys, over the years of just me growing as a leader and me choosing to do things different to get something different. So for some of you, since we're starting a brand new seminar year, I would say if you're a sales director listening to my voice, or even a consultant, like maybe your year went great and it was everything you wanted it to be last year. Or maybe you're sitting here and you're like, man, like I got to change something to get something different because my goals did not happen this past year. It did not come together. And I've had those years. I've had bucket list year finishes. 2018 was Jennifer mentioned this, but I seriously remember bawling my eyes out at the end of the year 2018 because we didn't finish our $1 million goal. And that was my granny going on stage with us for her 88th birthday. And I was devastated. I had to call her the next morning and tell her we didn't do it. And I just bawled and bawled and bawled. And one of my dear friends, National Sales Director Kristen Sharp, called me at 1 a.m. that morning. And I just cried like over the phone. And she knew, but she said to me, Bridget, I had 2 years where I did 950,000 and then 970. And then I came back and did it. And why I share that with you girls is because I think our valleys is what make people, they inspire people, right? Because like, okay, well, if she went through a valley, I can go through the valley and come out on the other side better too. And so I learned a lot that year, but that year built the momentum. So if you did not have the year you wanted, okay, but you're excited about this new year, you guys, everything you did this past year is going to help build momentum, right, for this new year, which is very, very exciting. So let me share with you like some thoughts I have. And again, you can totally be like, that's not for me. Or you can totally be like, oh my gosh, this is speaking my love language. I'm trying to do something different to get something different. So I may be like, well, I'll tell you why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And I'm just really excited to share it with you guys. So I think that school is never out for the pro. So I've been in this business, like I said, almost 20 years. So I made a decision in December. I felt the Lord laid on my heart in December of this past year during Christmas break to study. So I want to tell you guys that I went back to the basics and I started studying how everybody else in our industry, not just Mary Kay, but in our industry was working their business online. And I don't want you to tune me out if you're a 100% in-person business. I'm going to get to that, I promise. But do y'all guys remember when 9/11 happened? If you remember when 9/11 happened, we used to fly completely different. You guys remember? I took my friends to the gate, like you could go and be with your friend and, see them right off to the gate or your family. Well, then 9/11 happened and things changed, right? The world was never quite the same as it was before 9/11. And you guys, I believe that with COVID. But what I also believe with that is that I think that we're better, that we are better as a company because of what happened. And here's why. Because if you noticed in the year of a pandemic, we had a record-breaking year as a company. Now, no one can deny that. The proof is in the pudding. We had $32 million directors. We had more court achievers. We had more court of sales, court of sharing, unit club achievers in a very, very long time when everybody was 100% virtual. So you can't deny that there's not a piece of our business that if we're willing to embrace, whether virtual, in person, or a hybrid of it, so you guys, sometimes, you know what comfort zones are like? So here's what a comfort zone is. You ever work with a consultant that really, anybody ever felt this way, consultants or directors? Like you go back to what's comfortable because it's what's comfortable, but you're miserable. Have you ever done that? Like it's what you know, so it's what you do. So I decided after experiencing my $1 million year, 100% virtual, that I had to be willing to think a new thought. If you're thinking the thought, I'm going to wait till everything goes back to normal, I think we're there, my friends. I think we've hit normal. Like I think our normal world is going to be a hybrid version of what we do. And to be quite honest with you, we would have never done million had it not been virtual. I'm just being honest, because I couldn't get in front of enough faces to make million happen. I have several health conditions, and because of that, you guys, I've been in lockdown for 2.5 years. I don't have the luxury of working in person. Because of that, you guys, I had to figure out a new way to work. And I mean, really learn how to work my business from my smartphone or from my computer. And that may not be y'all's story, but I thank God for a business and I've been able to pivot and work from a virtual platform when I didn't have it before. And several companies before us have mastered that. We are not the first company to decide we're going to work virtual. I have many friends that have been very successful in other industries and other companies in our industry that were never in person. They were always 100% virtual business. And so I started studying, well, how do y'all work? What do y'all do different? All of that. Not because I'm trying to change the Mary Kay way. I'm trying to bring Mary Kay into 2022 to say, okay, how can we bring our 60-year-old business into a place where we can attract all kinds of amazing women? If you're watching as a consultant, you may have come in during COVID. My COVID consultants, they are amazing. And it's funny, I'll tell you a story. One of my girls is a teacher. She came in during COVID. She went to her first in-person type of event. It was like in a local coffee shop with one of my sweet director girlfriends. And she came home and I said, how did it go? She said, well, it was great. I said, well, what'd y'all do? You know, she told me everything. She said, but is this what y'all do? Or what y'all did? And I said, yes. She's like, why? And I was like, well, it's what we do. It's what we did. And she was like, but why? Because you can do this same thing in a virtual platform with a bunch of people at one time versus going to a coffee shop with 2 people and driving there and spending 4 hours and coming home. So what I'm saying is, you guys, is you're going to be recruiting people in this world of 2022 that don't want what we used to do. So if you're trying to train everybody and put everybody back in that box, I think you're going to experience some frustration, because I know the women I've personally added to my organization that I love and adore, they want to work from this. They want to work from this. They do not want to go out. They don't have time to go to parties and do that. And so again, can you be hybrid? Absolutely. Can you do a mix of both? Can you do one or the other? That's the beauty of what we do. So I'm going to give you some things that I have changed in my organization, in my business, that I feel like has made things so much simpler for me and for my business. And again, these may be completely new thoughts, maybe things you're already doing, but I really hope that for some of you, it might be like an aha moment of like, wow. Because the one thing that I can tell you, and I've studied, if I'm not working, I'm studying. I've studied I have 3 massive binders over here of courses I've taken in the last 6 months as a 20-year veteran, because I knew that the way that I have to work now has to look different. So, we say in Mary Kay, you can copycat as long as you copy the right cat. And so I knew that why am I going to reinvent a wheel that other people have already invented? I have to make that wheel work in our Mary Kay world while still keeping who we are. We are so unique. Nobody can match our culture, who we are as a company. I feel like that Mary Kay opportunity is unmatched, but that's not what I'm trying to duplicate. I'm trying to see the systems that they have in place that have worked efficiently and well to make it run like a well-oiled machine. How do you want to duplicate yourself? You want team members, you maybe want to build to your red jacket or to grow into a car by Christmas. I call it my Christmas tree goal. What would you love to have under your Christmas tree this year? You've got 5 months to make that happen. What would that look like? And so if that is going to be you, I feel like you're going to have to maybe take some of these thoughts that I have for you. So I'm going to give you some of the things just briefly here that I have done and I wanted to set it up because I feel like if I didn't set up what I was going to tell you, then a lot of it wouldn't make sense as to why I was giving it to you. So first of all, I think you're going to have very simple systems as you're onboarding new consultants. So for me, I now have an onboarding system. And again, this is all for me new. This is all a work in progress because I'm still learning. So don't ask Bridgett all the things because I'm still learning too. But these are what I know. What I've learned, you guys, is we have to keep it simple. So I was just on a panel with the company last week about new consultant onboarding, and I gave them a lot of my thoughts around it. But here's the 3 things that I know about onboarding. You have to give them something to say on social media to announce their business. They've got to put it out there to the mass. And then you have to give them in their first 24 hours something fun to do in 24 hours. Like not just talk about the debut, not just talk, that's all great. But what can they do in 24 hours? Let me give you a couple of thoughts. One, use that skin analyzer app. My new consultants in their first 24 hours get 5 scans. That's all I want them to do. I want you to pick 5 of your favorite people, and I want you to get them to do 5 scans, 5 skin analyzer scans, just like that. I want you to throw me into a 3-way messenger chat with me, you, and her. Thank you so much, Jolie, for being willing to be a scan. For our new consultant, Jennifer, she's so excited. Did you have any questions about that? I want her to see me immediately interacting with people and seeing that. And you guys, our number 1 job is to find pain points. What did Mary Kay Ash say? Find a need and fill it. Well, the app does it for you. You don't have to tell them where their wrinkles are or where their texture issues are, because the app will take care of it for you. So if I'm a brand new consultant and I get my first 3, 4, 5 people to scan and use that app anywhere around the country and throw her into a messenger with my sales director and her watch me interact, like, did you have any questions? Like, what did you think about the products they recommended? Do you currently use products that are in those categories? All you're doing is letting her see her pain points without you telling her, and simply offering suggestions that might bless her with products that she needs to fix things, like to fix things she wants to fix. So that's the first thing that I do is like, hey girl, who are your besties that you just want to get to do this? Everybody loves a fun app, right? Like, download the app and have fun with the app. That's very normal in our world today. The second thing that I do is, if you guys do not have, I'm kind of speaking to sales directors for a minute. If you are listening as a sales director, if you do not have a Facebook community that is for your unit, not just for your customers, I mean, it's for your entire unit, I do encourage that, because what I have found is that typically what I would do is get a new consultant. She's excited. We make a private Facebook group. We add her to the group and all her friends. And that's supposed to be her private Facebook group, right? Her VIP group, where she can share things with her customers and specials. And maybe some of y'all all have that, a private Facebook group. But what I've learned in all my studying, if you're really going to have a really awesome Facebook community for your customers, it's a full-time job. It's like, you got to come up with your content. What are your specials going to be? What are your lives going to be? And all of that. And so what I decided to do, because only about 95% of my unit doesn't want that, and only 5% do. So I decided to build a community for my unit. So I no longer create private Facebook groups anymore for my new consultants. I onboard them in the community with everybody else, with the mass of people. That way anybody can watch, they can encourage that new consultant. She brings her people in there. That way they're all in this big group. And then if she ever decides she wants to branch out and do her own Facebook group, she can. But what I have found is that we have tons of Facebook groups. I went through my Facebook. I have 90 groups that have been developed that are, nothing is happening. Anybody ever seen that? Like a Facebook group where there's like a bunch of people in it, but like nobody's posting in it. So then it's just like, that's a ton of leads that nobody's doing anything with. So now my assistant's working through group by group by group to get those people over into one place where everybody can get all the fun things. And that way everybody can contribute. You can have testimonials in there. You can have every Tuesday, maybe is like Tip Tuesday, like Makeup Mondays, but it's one place. It's one hub. So when I have a new consultant now, she doesn't have to do anything but add. I give her a challenge to do her 5 scans and add 10 people to our community. First thing she does. So that way her people are immediately seeing all the fun and seeing what's happening in our community, while she's getting her scans done. So it's really amazing. Okay. So that's one thing that I do that I really love. So if you're listening to this, I want to give you some thoughts around how you can have unlimited leads in your business. So you're thinking, well, I'm seasoned, Bridget, and I've been struggling, or I'm a director and I'm trying to figure out how to train my people. They don't have enough leads, or I don't know if anybody feels that way, but I think we always at one point feel that way. So I'm going to give you just a couple of quick thoughts around that. First of all, if you're not working your Facebook birthdays every single day, by the time the year is over, you've hit every single person in your Facebook community. And so I love Facebook birthdays because of that. And so, but I've taught my consultants not to just wish somebody a happy birthday. The key is that you wish it the day before their birthday. You don't wish it on their birthday, because nobody wishes them happy birthday typically early. So you stand out because you're not like everybody else on the day of their birthday. Okay. So sorry, y'all, my volume was down. I got a brand new phone. I don't know how to work it. Okay. So I'm still learning it. My husband's telling me how to use it. That's the thing. See, I'm not techie, but I can figure things out. All right. So we do Facebook birthdays, but I don't just do a birthday. I actually offer them value. So what if you made a cute graphic that on Canva or something like that, where it's maybe like the top 5 tips to keep you looking young. Okay. So when I text somebody for a birthday, I might say, hey, Jennifer, happy birthday, girl. What are you doing for your birthday tomorrow? That's fun. That's it. I don't say anything else. I actually ask her something to build a conversation. And she says, oh, we're going to go out to dinner. Or I'm taking my kids somewhere. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, that's amazing. I was like, I wanted to offer you a fun little birthday gift that I have made for all of my friends. It's just a fun 5 tips to help every girl stay looking young and amazing. And so I hope you love it. And, have a happy birthday. And so again, I want to give value to her and not just constantly bombard people with like things and product and like, gosh, I haven't talked to this girl in a year, but now she's wanting me to do something for her. And so then when she comes back and says, oh my gosh, I love these tips. They're amazing. Then I say to her, well, you know what, Jennifer, like we actually host an event every month for our birthdays. And I actually go into these tips more and in depth of how to make those tips work for you. So if you'd like to be invited, I'd love to add you. So I start with just asking her like, hey, what are you doing fun for your birthday? And then I give her something fun that might give value. And then I invite her to something. Does that make sense? So I don't just go straight for, hey girl, happy birthday. I want to mail you a pampering pack. And she's thinking, oh my gosh, chick, I haven't talked to you in like forever, And like, while the gesture is sweet, we sometimes wonder why we don't get results back. And that's sometimes why we don't. If you get results, keep doing it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But that's what I was finding in my organization. And that's what we do now. Also, I will tell you that one thing about leads that we have done a lot differently is that I actually went through like all of my different, I went through different sources. Okay. So I want to give you guys some thoughts around this. So I'm just going to spout off. You are never without leads, girls. You're never without leads. And I'm going to tell you why, because when you're looking at social media, like sometimes, before COVID, when we did everything in person, like, we were relying on warm chats, facial boxes. And again, there's a place for all of that. If you love doing that, do it. Not saying you can't, but why couldn't you also embrace both? Okay, if you're doing a hybrid. So for example, the birthday leads are perfect because that's already an automatic reason to reach out to somebody. But let's just go back a little bit. Have you had any Facebook parties since COVID? If you've been in Mary Kay for a minute, you might have had a Facebook party and a Facebook private group perhaps. And so if you have, then why don't you go back to those groups? Why don't you do a bingo night and do like a fun giveaway because the new fall products will be coming out. It would be a fun reason to get back in there, tell your host to say, hey, I'm going to do a fun surprise bingo in your group and try to re-engage that group again. And then once you re-engage it and get people excited, then you can invite them over to your community if you have a private one or a unit one, whatever it is. And sorry, y'all, I thought my silly phone, I can't know how to turn it down. Really crazy. Okay, this is not, hang on. I'm not trying to get this turned down so it doesn't beep. Now I got it. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So why don't you get back in those groups and see if you can restore something. So I play bingo a lot. Let me show you guys what it looks like. Okay. I'm going to show you what I do. I keep this by my desk all the time. Every party I do, if I'm going back into a group, any of that, if I want to get bookings, then I play bingo. Okay. But not like bingo, like you might be thinking bingo. I actually play bingo. I bought these colored balls. They're like what kids have in ball pits. Okay. I bought them on Amazon. This does not matter what you use. You can literally have paper tickets in a bag. Okay. Like don't spend money. You don't have to spend money. I'm just telling you, I like bright, fun, and colorful. And so I just liked the balls. Okay. But you can do anything. This is not about that. It's just playing the game. So at the end of every Facebook Live, if I was going to go reinvent the wheel and get back into some groups, kind of pull some things out, I'd say, girls, we're going to play bingo tonight. We're going to have so much fun. I'd make a post ahead of time to make sure they pick 5 numbers. Okay. There are 5 bingo numbers. And then I don't keep up with them. They come live, they type their numbers in the chat, and then I make them tell me when they're one away and when they're bingo. Okay. But here's the cool part about it. Here's my bingo prizes. Okay. I'm going to tell you what some of the things are. This is a booking bingo. This is not playing bingo to give away a bunch of free stuff. This is booking bingo. So when I play this at the end of a party or in my customer VIP group or in a party I've already had, I'll go back and I'll play bingo. But these are things I give away. I give away a $50 Mary Kay gift certificate when they book their private session with me with friends. That's one of the bingo prizes. I also we can do $100, $25. I mean, the amount's irrelevant, but I do gift cards, kind of like a hostess reward, if they book with me with a private event with their friends. So then I get in the DM with them if they win and say, hey girl, you got your $50 gift card with friends, whatever. Okay. And so then we book her. Okay. But I also have a couple of prizes that are not booking in case she's just really not going to want to book. I have a mystery box, which can basically be any product you want it to be. Okay. Or I have a $10 off an order of $40 or more. That way I'm not losing money. And I've even done like just a $10 Amazon gift card just for something totally random. It could be a Starbucks. You could do anything. You don't have to do that at all. That's just some of the things I've done. Or you can even just do a free product. But what happens is when they play booking bingo, I have 4 prizes. So I pick 4 of those, like a gift card to book, maybe a selling, and then like the $10 off. And then what I do is that I would say, okay, Jennifer, you bingoed first. Girl, you get to pick your prize. Do you want the $100 gift card for booking with your girlfriends? Do you want the $50 gift card? Do you want the Starbucks gift card? Or do you want the mystery box? Jennifer would say, oh, I want that $100. I'm like, sweet girl, okay, I'll DM you after this is over. Okay, you guys, so that's off the table now. Next girls at bingo, you get to pick from the other 3 prizes. Okay, so see, I'm letting them pick. I'm not forcing them to do it. I'm letting them pick what they want. And if nobody ends up picking those, I don't give them anything else. These are the 4 prizes. Okay, these are the 4 prizes. That's it. And so whenever I'm done with the booking, then I'll maybe post in the group if somebody picked it and say, hey girls, we still have 2 gift cards on the table for $50 and $100 if you want to book with your girlfriends for a private session. Okay. And so I'll just book it if they didn't play bingo. But you guys, it's so fun because I just get the balls. I'm like, okay, you guys, here we go. We're going to have some fun. Okay. Number 9, he's got number 9. And I just toss the ball. I'm like, okay, here we go. Next number. It goes really fast. Number 12. And so I just start throwing balls everywhere over my house, you know, I'm like, okay, who's got number 20? Keep it fun, keep it fast, throw the balls, throw the tickets, whatever you want to do. And so it's fun. And then it makes them want to book. They're excited. So you can use that, you guys, to start kind of reigniting some fire, maybe at the end of your events, at the end of your parties. If you're somebody that likes to do fun things like that, if you're like, that is not my personality, then don't worry about it. You don't have to do that. You can just use little paper tickets and just like call numbers. But people love to play bingo or some kind of game. You could do a trivia to finish it. You could do all kinds of different things to wrap up a party, but it does help with leads. So let's think about where you can get leads. I know my time is up. So I'm gonna give you a few examples, okay? We know the typical ones, our friends, our family, our neighbors, you know, kids, moms that our kids play with. We also think about, you know, the traditional places that we have leads. But I want you to also think about like your Facebook birthdays, Facebook groups that you're already in. So let's just say that you love horses and you're in a horse community on Facebook. Well, do you ever get in there? Do you ever comment or watch who's really active and then get in her DM and just say, hey, you know, Jennifer, I saw that you have horses and like, I love that. Like, what kind of horses do you have? And start a conversation with her. And you guys, online takes, just like anything, it's a no like trust factor. Like we have to be willing to build relationships, not just go straight for it all the time. But let's just pretend that you talk to 5 new people a day on social media, make 5 new conversations. That's 150 a month. If you just did 5 a day or 3 a day, you know? So, and those things can be super fast. Just like, hey girl, it's been a hot minute. How have you been? Just to start a conversation. Right? Just to start conversation. And then whenever I start a conversation, I might end it with this. You know what, Jennifer, I know that like, it's been so fun to reconnect with you. And by the way, y'all, I don't text anything, nothing. Everything is voice. Everything is voice, except for when I send the little birthday graphic. I will text Jennifer. I will voice message Jennifer on Messenger. Hey, Jennifer, happy birthday tomorrow. What are you doing fun for your birthday? Like, I want them to know that I took the time to actually send that message because sometimes we don't get voice and we just get these constant blast messages. So if Jennifer was in my horse group and I want to talk to her, I might say, you know, Jennifer, it's been so fun to connect with you. Like, I love we have so much in common about our horses. And I don't know if you've ever seen this, but I work in the beauty industry and I have a whole community where we just share fun tips and we do giveaways and testimonials. And I would just love to have you, if you'd be interested, would you like me to invite you to our community? And you'd be like, oh, that sounds great. And so then I invite her over. So what if you did that like 3 times a day, like with different people? Like that would be 90 new people in your community every single month that are seeing your tutorials, testimonials, and all that good stuff. Okay. So I wanted to mention that. So I think I'll just stop there. I know it's a lot. I could go on for hours, but I feel like that's probably a good place to stop, is just thinking about where you can get leads. That's not your traditional way to get leads, from old groups, from communities that you're in that already have common interest, getting in your own Facebook of thinking, gosh, how many people have I not really connected with in a really long time, but not offering them something, but just getting back into their inbox with them and just, how are you? How are your kids? So if I don't know the rule is this, real quick, you have to go into somebody's feed today that you really want to connect with, and you want to like 3 to 5 of her posts with a heart, or with like if you use the wow, this is a hack. If you use the emoji, right? Like the wow emoji, like they don't know what that means. So when's the last time when you get a wow, you're like, I wonder what she means, like a good wow or a bad wow, or like, that's really cool wow. And so when you use that wow emoji, it's like, huh, that's interesting. So if you go into somebody's Facebook page, like Facebook profile, and you like 3 of her posts, and maybe you heart them, ask her a question. She went to Disney, like, what did y'all love about Disney? Like, ask her something in her comments, like in the comments. Okay. So it starts her conversation. So she's thinking, gosh, Bridget's really engaging with me. Like, she saw, I like 3 of her posts. I commented on 2 of her posts. And then I'm going to go in her DM and say, hey, Jennifer, I saw you went to Disney. Like, what did you love about that? Like, or like, hey, what are you doing for back to school for your kids? Maybe you go to the same school or something, you know? So it's just being a human, not being so scripted, but just loving people. And that has served me so well this past year, and has served my consultants so well. So I'm going to look at the chat and see if there's any questions. If y'all have a question, I guess drop it in the chat, but I'll go ahead and stop there, Jennifer, in case you have a question for me.
I think that's great. I think the biggest thing was when you're doing your ball bingo, are you having them have a bingo board beforehand or something that they're playing?
Nope.
Okay.
No boards, no nothing.
Okay.
They pick 5 numbers.
Okay.
Simple.
All right. I
Keep
love
it simple.
that.
Anybody can duplicate that. Have tickets, papers, something 1 through 25, pick 5 numbers, and they're on the honor system, you guys. So what if they win? I'm not giving anything crazy. So let's just say that somebody says, oh, I bingo, and they really didn't. Well, so what? Do you want to host a party? Okay, great. So I really, I don't even care. I just have them pick 5 numbers ahead of time to build kind of some excitement. And then I say, okay, girls, drop your numbers in the chat, and they drop them, and then we just start playing. It's fast. It should take about 10 minutes at the most to play your bingo.
I love that. I love these ideas. And what a great way to start the year, thinking a different thought. And some of you may be, I don't know, I have a lot of friends that are just pro with social media and do all those things. And I was like you, I had to like get on board. I've always just been in the Mary Kay world where it's eyeball to eyeball, in person. It took me a hot minute to switch a little bit, but I love it. I tell when we still do our meetings on Zoom, everyone's like, are we going to meet in person? Well, you can come to my house while I'm doing it, but I love it because all my people are everywhere. And I don't know why I didn't do that before. I mean, sometimes you think back and think, why didn't we take advantage? It was there long before COVID. I don't know why we didn't do that, but
I know. I totally agree.
It's crazy. Yeah. What they say, oh, what's your tip sheet? Do you have like a,
honestly, you guys, all of you right now, if you just go on, seriously, all I did was go to Google, top 10 beauty tips to help you stay looking young. That's it. I did not know any of it. I just literally Googled it. I'm like, top 5 tips to make you look younger. That's it. And you'll get a bunch of different articles on don't put your eyeliner on the bottom, wear dewy foundation. Like, it's just simple things. Like, I just picked random tips. I Googled it and just found random tips.
That's awesome. I love that. Does anybody else? I'm going to look, if anybody wants to unmute, we have a few minutes if you want to affirm Bridget or ask a question, or I loved all of these. Thank you. These are powerful. And I love it. People can work in person, work at home, work both. It doesn't matter. I'll give you all a second. You will have to unmute because I did mute you.
I'm stepping in.
Okay.
I always got something to say. I actually started doing something very similar to that because I am pretty much doing most of my stuff virtual. And I'm doing a lot of live streaming. So samples are being sent out left and right. And I'm like, but I'm still not getting the feedback. So now I am writing those that book with me, their names, on my table. I have a table that I'm writing everybody's names on. So
Love
Well,
that.
I love that idea too. And the thing too, Sam, is I don't know if anybody else says there's a lot of times I do things virtually and they don't have any samples. Like I
Mhm.
will do the thing with no cost of samples or mailing or any of that to save money. And then from there, they either buy or they tell me what they need. And then you know
Right.
those are actually going to be utilized because they asked for them.
yeah, and even if they ask for them, I'm not getting that feedback. So I'm like, okay, how do I get them to interact more? And a lot of people have been starting to feedback just this morning. So
Love it. That's great. Well, just what Jennifer said, I'll say real quick, think about you guys QVC. Like people spend millions, if not, I don't even know, maybe billions on QVC and HSN, place like that. And women just stand there and show something and talk about how awesome it is, right? And people buy it all day long, every day. So I think you're right. Whether it samples or no samples, like don't get, like I like to onboard a new consultant within 48 hours. I don't have time to send samples out. Like I want to get her moving fast and making money fast. And so I do send samples. I just sent samples out this morning, but I think you can decide, like, is this appropriate for this event? Or like, do I need to hurry up and pivot and get her going? And so I actually onboard within 48, 72 hours. So yeah, I think I love samples, but I also love that we can do it with or without, which is great.
Absolutely. Any other questions, girls? I know you're all busy and on lunch hour and
So, Bridgett, thank you so much. I really do not know why everybody hasn't switched to virtual. And I still have a long ways to go, but it is working. There's a lot that is working for me. I feel like I need to go back and listen to you again because I feel like you've given us so much information. And I am glad that I had a little bit more information when you said, because I missed dropping their numbers in the chat, little things like that, so I don't have any questions right now, but you're in Emerald, aren't you?
Yes.
And I am too. So I'll see you, and I'll let you know if I have more questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
yeah.
I have a question. Hi,
Yeah.
Jenny. I wanted to ask Bridgett, what was in your mystery box? Is that where you did the $10 off a $40 order, or what was your mystery box?
It's usually a product.
Okay.
Yeah. So they either get to pick the $10 off an order of 40 or more, or a mystery box, which is just a product that I stick in there typically. And I'll take, if y'all been in Mary Kay for a little bit, we have the holiday boxes that, we get every year, like the trio of boxes. If you've been in Mary Kay, you could use any box. You can go to Dollar Tree and pick up a box. It's irrelevant of what the box is. Just, hey girls, you can pick the mystery box or the gift card or the gift cards to book, so yeah, mystery box is just usually a product.
Thank you. It was really great. I appreciate all the tips.
Oh, you're welcome.
I love that. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for all hopping on today and being part of this. I'm loving these lunch and learns. We get something different. I don't know. Like I always say, I always feel like God works that out. Everyone's like, what do I trim? I don't know. Whatever you want to do, because I feel like he's always worked it out where we all get exactly what we need. And I love these. And so thank you all for participating. Wherever you learned about this is probably where you'll see the recording. I'm not part of all the million groups and all the million Voxers. I'm sorry about it. But wherever you found it is probably, and if you got it from a friend or you need that information, you can always reach out to me and I will always make sure you're getting that. But they're typically every Thursday, and I will get the recording within the next 24 hours and we'll get that out so you guys can listen to this over and over and over and get ideas and refreshers. But Bridgett, thank you for taking time just to get back to everybody. We know how busy July is for everybody, especially if we get a seminar in person. And I just love you, sweet friend. I love your heart and I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much. And y'all have great seminars. Okay.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.